Welcome to the shadow frequency, where the veil between this world and the next grows thin, and the things that whisper in the dark are given voice. From the cryptic candlelit studios, deep in the Indiana forests, your host, Matt Wilson, and his spectral producer, Juniper Ravenwood, unearth the forbidden, the forgotten, and the fearsome. So, still your heart, dim the light, and listen closely. For once you tune into the shadow frequency, you may never tune out.
Okay, let's see what the cabinet's coughing up tonight. Old Polaroid of a ghost at the Dairy Queen. Half-melted cassette labeled "Do Not Play Backwards." Huh. Oh, here's something new. It's a map of Indiana. The edges are burned and... Wait, Clinton County is circled in red ink, but the circle's glowing.
Glowing red ink on a burned map of Indiana. Yeah, nothing unsettling about that. You sure you didn't spill your highlighter potion again?
Haha, no potion this time, I swear. But if the cabinet's pointing us homeward, I don't like what that implies.
Maybe something or someone out there wants our attention? Clinton County's never been exactly quiet in the weird frequency department.
Well, let's see what else the drawer's got before it slams shut on me again. Found it. Tonight's file. Episode 237, The Dropa Stones, Alien Artifacts, or Ancient Hoax.
Ah, yeah, circular stone disc carved with strange glyphs, supposedly discovered in a remote cave in the Himalayas, right?
Right. And according to legend, they tell the story of beings from the stars who crashed here on Earth thousands of years ago.
Well, if those stones really exist, they might just rewrite human history or prove we've been spinning a good story for decades.
Neither way, it's another mystery straight from the haunted file cabinet. Let's cue the static and tune in to the shadow frequency.
You are tuned to the shadow frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. Hosted by Matt Wilson, produced by Juniper Ravenwood, with Chris Beach. The darkness continues.
Deep in the frozen folds of the Bayan Mountains, where the wind howls like a dying god and the snow buries secrets older than language, a discovery was made that should have rewritten every history book. Discs of stone, thin as communion wafers, etched with spirals so fine they could only be read beneath a microscope. This that whispered of starships screaming through the sky 12,000 years ago. Of beings who fell from the clouds and never left. Tonight, we cradle one of those discs in the dark and listen for the frequency it still broadcasts. The Dropa Stones, alien relics, or the longest con in archaeological memory.
Juniper, you absolute ghoul. I can already feel the static crawling up my spine.
Good. Let it crawl. Let it nest, Matt. The file's open. Take us into the cave.
Thanks, Juniper, for digging into the file cabinet again, literally pulling dust off a folder labeled "Do Not Open," Bayan 1938 in red ink that still looks wet. I'm going to read this the way it was written. No filters, no daylight, just the cold breath of the mountain and the story it coughed up. Picture 1938. The Sino-Japanese War is bleeding across the map. But a joint Chinese-European expedition led by a professor named Chi Pu-Te has slipped into the Qinghai-Tibet borderlands, chasing rumors of ancient trade routes. They're not looking for aliens. They're looking for partery shods and bronze knives. Instead, they find a warren of caves, honeycombed into granite so black it drinks lantern light. Inside one chamber, the floor is carpeted with stone discs, hundreds of them, each about 9 inches across, a half-inch thick, with a perfect hole punched through the center like a vinyl record for the gods. The team stacks them in crates, thinking they're ritual sun discs, maybe funerary. But when the crates reach Chongqing for study, a junior archaeologist named Huang Li notices something under magnification. The grooves aren't random. They spiral inward in a continuous ribbon, tighter and tighter, like the fingerprint of a hurricane. When the light hits just right, the stone glimmers with flecks of cobalt and unknown metals. Huang Li swears the discs hum when you hold them to your ear at night. Fast forward to 1947, Beijing Academy. The discs are locked in a basement vault because half of the original team has vanished. Some say drafted into war, others say taken. The surviving notes describe burial chambers flanking the disc room. 716 shallow graves, each containing a skeleton no taller than a 10-year-old human child. The skulls are enormous. Bulbous crania, tiny jawbones, eye sockets like black coins. No grave goods except one disc laid on every chest, as if the dead were meant to carry music into the afterlife. Carbon dating, crude as it was then, spits out an age of 10,000 to 12,000 years. But the real payload comes in 1962, when a linguist named Sum Nui claims to have cracked the script. He works in secret, terrified of the party censors, and produces a translation that reads like a distress beacon. The Dropa came down from the clouds in their sky ships. Our people hunted them in the mountains, but they were peaceful. Many died in the thin air. We buried them with honor. Their ship lies broken in the gorge. Do not disturb the sleepers. Soon publishes a thin monograph, then disappears. The Academy denies he ever existed. The discs vanish from official inventory. Yet photographs leak. Grainy black and whites showing a disc under a microscope. The spiral glowing like a galaxy. Eyewitnesses from the 38 dig surface in Hong Kong bars, drunk on rice wine and regret, describing a wall carving of a sun with 11 planets, and a metal hull half buried in a ravine, still warm to the touch after 12 millennia. One claims the expedition's mules refused to enter the cave, screaming until their eyes rolled white. Another says the discs were arranged on the floor in the exact pattern of the Pleiades star cluster. Imagine holding one, palm-sized, heavier than it should be. You trace the groove with a fingernail and feel a vibration, like a cat purring inside the stone. You lift it to the moonlight and the spiral catches the silver, spinning a tiny galaxy between your fingers. And somewhere, 12,000 years away, a pilot with two large eyes watches the same moon and wonders if anyone will ever read the message he carved before the oxygen ran out.
I need a minute. That image is going to live in my skull rent-free.
Stick around, June. After the break, we crack the hoax wide open, or we bury it deeper. Your call, listeners. Juniper, hit the lights.
"20 minutes in, and I'm checking under the desk for 4-foot skeletons. If you're new here, welcome to the frequency where the veil is tissue paper. If you're a regular, you already know we don't do tidy answers. What's rattling around in your head right now, night owls? Are the Dropa stones humming in your palm yet? Hang tight, we've got mail from the static, a word from Chris, and then Matt drags us back into the cave with a flashlight and a crowbar. Chris?
Cheers, Juniper. If the shadows have drawn you in, stay a while. Hit that like button, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, or wherever you tune in to your favorite podcasts. Dive deeper at shadowfrequencypodcast.com. There, you can explore our complete episode archive, check out our Shadow blog for deeper dives into each case, snag some exclusive merch, or even help support the show by buying us a coffee. And here's something fun. Leave us a voicemail on the site and tell us where in the world you're listening from. You just might hear yourself on the next episode. Take it away, Juniper.
All right, time to fire up the spectral cosmic message materializer. Flipping the switches now. Let's see what phantom memo drifts out of the ether tonight. Ah, here's a slip of paper curling like smoke.
Message retrieved from the
Let's
void.
unfold it before it dissolves. This one's from Tessa H. Duluth, Minnesota. Says, hey, Matt and Juniper, I just wanted to drop you both a note to say how much I love the shadow frequency. I usually listen late at night while I'm working on art projects. There's something about your show that fits perfectly with the sound of rain against the windows and the glow of a desk lamp. I tune in through Spotify, but I've been checking out some video clips on YouTube. The visuals you've been adding really set the mood. My favorite episodes are the ones about UFO encounters and strange government cover-ups. I also love when Juniper dives into the weirder found in the file cabinet stuff. It's got that eerie charm that feels like a story you shouldn't be hearing, but can't turn off. Keep doing what you're doing. You've definitely got one listener up north who never misses an episode, listening from the static Tessa H. Tessa, you gorgeous insomniac, painting to the sound of rain and our particular brand of midnight dread. Thank you. Duluth in November is basically one big Dropa cave anyway, all gray water and sodium lights. Keep those brushes moving. We'll keep the stories dripping. Listeners, Tessa reached us at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Your turn to slide something into the void. Back to you, Matt. Try not to lose the rest of the expedition this time.
You are tuned to the shadow frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. The darkness continues.
Thanks, Juniper. And Tessa, your desk lamp is now officially part of the ritual circle. Welcome. We left our story in 1962 with Sum Nui's forbidden translation and a vault full of discs that officially never existed. Now we follow the paper trail into the daylight where things get complicated. Buckle in, the mountain is about to fight back. The first crack appears in 1974. An Austrian engineer named Ernst Wegerer visits China on a cultural exchange and claims to tour the Banpo Museum. He swears he sees 2 Dropa stones under glass, holes in the center, spiral grooves, the whole deal. He snaps photos. Museum staff hustle him out, saying the exhibit is temporary. When ufologists track down the curator years later, she claims no record of the Dropa stones, no Wegerer visit, no photos. But the pictures circulate anyway. The discs look real, but the background is wrong. Modern display cases, fluorescent lights. Something's off. Then the skeptics sharpen their knives. In 1995, a German magazine, 40 Times, runs a deep dive. They find no trace of Chi Pu Te in any pre-1949 expedition logs. Sum Nui's name doesn't appear in Beijing Academy rosters. The translation uses grammatical structures that feel suspiciously modern. And those 716 dwarf skeletons? No anthropological paper, no museum catalog, nothing. The story starts to smell like a 1960s Soviet disinformation burger, served hot to embarrass capitalist science. Here's the one rational speed bump I'll allow. In 2002, a Chinese chemist named Dr. Wang Zhijun tests a supposed Dropa fragment smuggled to Japan. Verdict? It's ordinary jadeite with aluminum oxide inclusions. Stone Age tech, not starship hull. The unknown metals are just trace cobalt from local ore. The spiral grooves, microscopic tooling marks consistent with Neolithic jade carving. No alien alloys, no vibration, no hum. Just a very old, very pretty buy disc, thousands of which litter Chinese too. But the mountain doesn't surrender that easy, because even if the stones are terrestrial, the legend keeps bleeding. In 2018, satellite imagery picks up a crescent-shaped scar in the Bayan ravine, exactly where the 38 team originally found the broken ship. Locals still avoid the gorge, claiming compasses spin and drones lose signal. A 2021 hiker posts GoPro footage at dusk, faint green lights pulse beneath the ice, in the precise rhythm of a heartbeat. The file gets corrupted the moment it uploads. So here's where we stand in the cave mouth, wind screaming through the cracks. Option 1, every photograph, every eyewitness, every translation is a domino in the longest con in UFO history, started by a bored archaeologist, amplified by Cold War paranoia, and polished by the internet. Option 2. The hoax is the cover story, and the real discs are still down there, humming at a frequency that makes mules panic and satellites stutter. Pick your poison. I keep coming back to Sum Nui's last line before he vanished. Do not disturb the sleepers. Maybe that's the only part that's true. Maybe the stones aren't messages, they're lullabies, and we just woke something up.
Okay, I take it back. I want to hoax. I want to jade by this and the grumpy curator. Anything but lullabies for the dead.
Too late, June. The frequency's locked.
God.
Listeners, files closing, but the cave stays open. Juniper, take us out before the lights start pulsing green.
Episode 237, The Dropa Stones, Alien Artifacts, or Ancient Hoax. A 12,000-year whisper that still hasn't decided if it's a scream or a lie. Thank you for walking the ridgeline with us. If you've got your own cave story, your own disc that hones in the dark, send it to shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. You can find our website, shadowfrequencypodcast.com, or you can stalk the static on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Rumble. Next time, we crack open another file, something about mirrors that don't reflect the living, maybe. Matt, want to say goodnight?
Sleep with the lights on, friends. The mountain's listening.
This is the Shadow Frequency. Good night and good luck.
This episode was conjured with a solemn vow to explore the unexplained while remaining bound to the truths that have been unearthed. All interpretations are speculative and offered only for your enlightenment and your entertainment.